So if you're wondering which new exotics are in the game for you to chase, then hopefully this video will help you out, and we'll start out with the weapons. So we're looking in the Planet Destiny database right here. First up we have the Colony, the new exotic grenade launcher. The exotic bonus is Insectoid Robot Grenades. This weapon's grenades are insectoid robots that chase targets and explode close to them. It also has Serve the Colony. Insectoid Robot Grenades quickly repopulate the magazine from reserves while the colony is unequipped. So definitely one of the more unique grenade launchers in the game, and from early reports it definitely sounds like these kind of insectoid robot grenades are pretty effective. Up next though we have the Crimson Hand Cannon. This is the Red Death themed weapon in the Curse of Osiris. It's a 386 round per minute hand cannon, which I believe is a new archetype, and it's an impact class of 92 points with a pretty decent range stat at 60 points, high stability at 82 points. The perks are actually hidden in the database, but the exotic perk is Banned Weapon. This weapon fires a 3-round burst. The other bonus for this exotic is Cruel Remedy. Kills with this weapon heal the wielder, and precision kills also refill the magazine. So it is a burst hand cannon, which is pretty interesting. Still comes with health regeneration, as well as the ability to refill the mag on precision kills, which is pretty interesting. It's also worth noting that there is a new exotic ornament, the Silver Bullet, available for this weapon. Next though we have the Prometheus Lens, the new exotic trace rifle. This one comes with Prismatic Inferno, fires a solar trace beam, and generates a damaging heat field that grows while the weapon continues to fire. It also has Flame Refraction. Kills with the weapon return a fraction of the ammo used to the magazine, extending the beam's duration. So pretty interesting exotic bonuses right there. In terms of stats and everything like that, it is pretty much identical to the Cold Heart, but the exotic bonuses of course make it that little bit more interesting. And right now, apparently in the Crucible, this thing is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know whether it's going to get nerfed or anything like that, but currently it does appear to be very, very strong, so if you pick it up, definitely worth trying out in PvP. Also, you will get 2 exotic ornaments for this thing, the Eye of Osiris, as well as the Prism ornament that you can grab from Eververse. The next weapon though is Telesto, a returning exotic from back in the Taken King. So this has Unplanned Reprieve, fusion projectiles attach and detonate with a delayed Void Blast. It also has Harbinger's Pulse. Multi-kills with this weapon immediately reload your equipped kinetic and energy weapons from reserves. So the change to the Harbinger perk is pretty cool right there. It will reload your other weapons if you make kills with this weapon, and of course you've got that kind of delayed blast when the weapon attaches its projectiles, which is pretty interesting. Also, you can get the Reef in Ruins exotic ornament for this weapon. Next though we have the Jade Rabbit, and the perks for this don't appear in the database for some reason, but its exotic bonus is the Fate of All Fools. Chain body shots to gain bonus damage on your next precision shot and return ammo to the magazine. The weapon also comes with armor-piercing rounds as well as Zen Moment. So if you're a big fan of Jade Rabbit back in Destiny 1, then of course you have the chance to get it once again in D2 now. For the exotic armor though, we have the Aeon Safe, and this is the Titans variant of this exotic. So it has Aeon Energy. Summoning a barricade grants the following to nearby Aeon Cult allies: Grenade Energy to Warlocks, Barricade Energy to Titans, and Dodge Energy to Hunters. And then of course you have the Aeon Soul for the Warlock, and throwing grenades will grant the following to nearby cult enemies, so Grenade Energy to Warlocks, Barricades to Titans, Dodge to Hunters. And then finally the Hunter version, Aeon Swift, where dodging will grant those abilities once again to Titans and Warlocks, and you'll also receive ability buffs when they use their abilities as well. So pretty interesting kind of synergy exotics that you can run in a team of people. For the Hunter though, we have the Gemini Jester boots. These come with misdirection. Dodging disorients nearby enemies and temporarily removes their radars. So if you actually kind of dodge next to someone, they will be disoriented and they'll lose their radar. So it's definitely going to be a pretty obnoxious exotic potentially. Also, this comes with the Trickster exotic ornament. Also for the Hunter, we have the returning Shinobu's Vow. This has the exotic bonus New Tricks, improves skip grenade, and you gain an additional skip grenade charge. So pretty much identical to what it was in D1. And then we have the Graviton Forfeit, the classic Night Stalker exotic right here. This has Vanishing Shadow, increases the duration of any invisibility effects, and your melee recharges faster while you are invisible. So definitely an interesting change there. If you like being invisible and running about, then this is pretty much the exotic for you, I guess. We have more returning exotics though. One is the Mark 44 standard size for the Titan. This has a bonus called Seriously Watch Out, so it grants an overshield when sprinting at full health with Seismic Strike, Hammer Strike, or Shield Bash equipped. Hits with these abilities will recharge a portion of your melee energy. So essentially sprinting will give you an overshield when you're actually at full health, which definitely is going to make them potentially pretty good for kind of aggressive play, especially in PvP stuff, but pretty tanky in PvE in the right situations as well. Also for the Titans, Helm of Saint 14 has returned. This has Starless Night. Your Ward of Dawn blinds enemies that enter it, and guarding with the Sentinel Shield temporarily blinds nearby enemies. So if you're actually in the bubble, it does exactly what it did back in D1, but it has the additional capability of actually temporarily blinding nearby enemies if you're guarding with the Sentinel Shield. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how good this thing is. A new one for the Titan is the Kepri's Horn, the grotesque looking mask right there. This has Solar Rampart. Solar damage kills recharge your barricade, which unleashes a blast of solar energy when summoned. So if you're getting solar kills, you'll earn the barricade back much quicker, and when you actually activate the shield, it will unleash a blast of solar energy, which is pretty interesting. You can also get the Techno Scarab exotic ornament for this helmet. For the Warlocks though, we have the returning Ophidian aspect. This comes with Cobra Totemic, weapons ready and reload very quickly, melee range is extended. These have the potential to be pretty damn good, I think, for the Warlock. Of course, weapons in general are a little bit slower, the handling speeds tend to be less aggressive across the board, so reloading and readying very quickly, could be pretty good, and an extended range for your melee as well. Potentially for a Warlock could be pretty nasty. A new one for the Warlock would be the Vesper of Radius, and this has Planetary Torrent. Rifts release an arc shockwave when cast, and Rift energy recharges faster when you are surrounded by enemies. So it's going to be pretty good, especially in anything with kind of arc burn active, and anything that you're kind of very much surrounded by enemies. If you pop that Rift when enemies are kind of pushing towards you, then that kind of discharge of energy could be pretty beneficial, and of course it's going to recharge faster when enemies are nearby. So it's going to be a pretty interesting exotic for the Stormcaller or the Arc subclass in general, although this isn't a subclass specific exotic, so you can actually use it on any Warlock subclass. Also for the Warlocks, we have the Stag, which is returned from the Taken King. This has Dearly Departed, grants Rift energy when you are critically wounded, and on your death creates a brief healing rift on your corpse. Hard to tell exactly how good this thing will be. It's definitely an interesting idea, if you're in a rift with your fire team or anything like that, if you go down, you are going to grant your remaining teammates kind of a rift there for a moment, which is pretty interesting. But that covers the bulk of the returning and new exotic weapons and armor guys. One interesting one worth pointing out would be Sagira's Shell. This is a new exotic ghost shell. I don't believe this can come from the Eververse loot table, so we've yet to find where this thing actually drops from, possibly a quest. And the perks for this thing are, pretty decent, so detects caches and resources within a 75-meter range on Mercury. It also has Omni Telemetry, generate gunsmith telemetry data on any elemental weapon kill, and finally Scion of Mercury, increased glimmer and chance to obtain additional faction consumables on Mercury. So we'll have to wait and see exactly where this thing comes from. It's definitely going to be pretty interesting to find out. For now though, that breaks down all of the currently known exotic gear that has come in the Curse of Osiris, guys. Let me know any stuff you're interested in picking up or any that you've been using. I think it's interesting that they brought so many returning exotics back into Destiny 2, especially inside of this DLC. There are a whole bunch that we had in Destiny 1, but I do still think, there are some pretty fun exotics in this game, guys. Anyway, if you have enjoyed the video, a like is very much appreciated. Let me know your thoughts down below, and if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe to see a lot more Destiny 2 content.